We turn now to a hidden crisis that's threatening lives in our most vulnerable communities. Many are living without things that most of us take for granted, like running water and sanitation. The new $1 trillion Infrastructure Act provides nearly $12 billion to fix that.
In a largely poor and black region of rural Alabama, many are living without adequate septic systems. It's creating a dangerous wastewater crisis that residents and activists describe as environmental racism.
It's really the waste that comes out of the septic tank. That's what it is. It's like the raw sewage that come out of your body. It's the odor, it's the smell, it's the raw sewage that comes out of a person's body. That's what it is. There's no other way to explain it. Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
And that is all over your yard?
Yes.
America in the 21st century hides its shame in the backyards of the rural poor. In Lowndes County, Alabama, Perman Hardy knows all about it.
When there's a lot of rain, you cannot flush the toilet.
If you did, it would be all over your house.
Yeah. When it go bloop, bloop, get ready. Here it comes.
The dark green waters across from Jerry Dean Smith's home hold a foul-smelling mix of human waste.
It smells. It smells so bad.
In Haynesville, Alabama, and many towns across Lowndes County, residents pay for sewage to flow into these lagoons. But here, many homes have failing sewage systems or none at all.
You got waste running in people's yard, neighbors' yard. It backs up in the majority of these neighbors' homes. It backs up in the bathroom and on the floors.
In the unincorporated areas of this county, where Martin Luther King famously led the Selma to Montgomery March, there's no municipal sewage system. And for an estimated 80% of households, no adequate septic system either.
It backs up in the shower, backs up in the tub, nets everywhere.
Raw sewage regularly flooded Kenneth Gordon's 83-year-old mother's house.
This the tub, the toilet, they have most of the problems.
He had to move her out.
Were you concerned about your mother's health?
Yes, very, very concerned about her health.
Residents like 78-year-old Catherine Canyon are just trying to survive in squalid conditions.
If I go in there, if it rains, and take a shower, or flush my stew, the waste coming back up, sometimes in my kitchen sink. So I don't use dish, I use paper plates. It got me disgusted.
The sewage pooling below her trailer is rotting the floors. Recently, she says she broke her arm falling through the floor, but she can't afford to fix it or to move.
This is an area close to the lagoon. And the resident says when the red light goes off at the lagoon, look for her yard to flood with raw sewage the next day. And she said out of all the years that she have lived here, which is like 28 years, her children or her grandchildren has never been able to play in the yard during spring break because it's always wet or flooded out with raw sewage. And this is a pretty nice yard, large area for the kids not to be able to play in it during their spring break. This whole area floods out here with raw sewage.
Untreated sewage can lead to bacterial infections and intestinal parasites. The only solution is a new system. But the hard clay soil here requires specially designed septic systems that can cost as much as the median household income in Lowndes County.
Every time it rains, people, they know what might happen. They know that sewage may shoot out and come back in their house.
What sort of damage does that do?
I can't imagine. I just can't imagine.
Smith and her neighbors say it's a health risk. In fact, one study found 1 out of every 3 adults here tested positive for hookworms, an intestinal parasite long thought to be eradicated.
The people who are infected release eggs. Those eggs are part of the excrement.
Okay.
And if they end up on the ground and become the hookworm, the infectious hookworm, and then you step on them or walk by, and it goes into your skin and goes through the cycle. So it's a human to soil, soil to human infection.
Hookworm is a parasite that feeds on the blood of its host. When people have a lot of hookworms in their gut, the parasite can cause anemia and even limit children's ability to learn.
So one of the thoughts is and especially in Alabama, that the myth of the slow-speaking sharecropper, usually African American, and there's some evidence that it was because of the hookworm burden.
Last November, the Department of Justice opened a civil rights investigation aimed at assessing whether the Alabama and Lowndes County health departments are discriminating against black residents. A state health official disagrees and says DOJ won't find any wrongdoing.
They'll come out with the same conclusion I had. I've done my own investigation. I see no discrimination. If you flush your toilet, you're responsible. Your home is your property. It's private property.
She even suggested residents use outhouses.
You've got an outhouse on the outside and you got sewage on the ground. Environmentally, the outhouse is better.
The homeowner is responsible for the systems, for the individual systems here in Lowndes County because they own the property, but they cannot afford the remedy. Unlike in places like in the urban communities, taxpayers' money actually help establish those systems. Here, they leave it up to poor people to do it. And because they cannot afford it, it doesn't get done. And then they're prosecuted for not being able to afford the remedy. And the policies are not in place to enable a solution. Because instead of a massive effort being made to put in place wastewater treatment that could take in the effluent that's being released into the environment, it's being left up to poor homeowners who don't have the resources to do it.
Walter McMeans has lived in Alabama his whole life.
Is this raw sewage?
Yeah.
How long has it been like this?
Years.
The ground doesn't absorb water well, so special septic tanks are required, which can run upwards of $10,000.
Every time you use water, you're worried that the septic system might have some sort of failure.
I'm not worried about it does. And as the years pass, the problem get worse and worse. If we don't get something done about it, I don't know what you want to do. But no one should have to live like this.
It's been like this for the last 50, 60 years. There's nothing done about sewage. Every individual got their own sewage, and depending on the perk of the land, it's coming out of the ground. And that may be part of the problem with the health condition here.
I'm sick and tired of it. I'm tired. I mean, why? Why is all this injustice being let to go on and nobody's being held responsible? They just simply, the government is simply taking advantage of the poor people. And then it's still not doing anything about it. It is unfair. Where is the justice?
It's not necessary for this to be going on in 2022. It just shouldn't be in the United States. It shouldn't be. This is the wealthiest country. A sewage system should be a right.
How do you feel living in this state?
Trapped. Nowhere to go. But we just have to pray and have faith and hope tomorrow will get better.
No one is coming to help us or save us. At the end of the day, we are all we got. So help us help each other. If you want to donate or be a part of the Lowndes County water crisis solution, the link to the fundraiser is below in the description. Let's start being the change that we want to see and be an example for the next generation. Because at the end of the day, it starts with us.